Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new. Today's video is super exciting because I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite brush collections. This collection of brushes I feel like had so much hype when it came out, and it came out over 2 years ago. So I bought these brushes when they first launched and I've been using them literally every single day since then. And I wanted to come back and give you guys an updated review 2 years later. The brushes that I'm talking about are the KJH and Spectrum Collections brush line. So I have the full set. I did purchase this on launch day. I purchased this with my own money. It was not sent to me. This video is not sponsored. After I purchased these brushes, Spectrum Collections did ask me if I want to become an affiliate for them, and so I am a part of their affiliate program. So I will have an affiliated link down below, so you guys will be able to save 15% on any of your purchases on the website. So if you do shop through that link, thank you so much. That will support my channel, but there is no pressure to do that, and I'm not obligated to speak any type of way about their products. I just want to update you guys on these brushes because I was looking back on my video. I actually have 2 videos on these brushes already. I did film a video when I first got them, and then I filmed a video 6 months later. And at those times, just so that you guys know, I was not an affiliate of the brand. So my opinion is still my own. I just wanted to point that out. But I did just watch back my 6-month review video, and I do feel like I have a couple more things that I could add as far as that goes. But I don't want to be overly repetitive, so I will have both of those videos linked down below for more of a detailed overview on how each brush performs and everything like that. But today I would just want to update you on how they are looking 2 years later, if I still use them, do I have any difference of opinion on the brushes, and then the difference of this video and the other 2 is that I've now been able to try a couple different brush lines from Spectrum Collections, and so I have something to say about that because I don't think the quality is the same over all of their brushes. So I wanted to mention that. That way, if you're looking at different brushes on the site in comparison to this one, then you might have a better understanding as to what to look for. So let's jump into it. When I picked up this collection, I purchased the whole set except for the soap. I didn't pick up the soap because I felt like it might give me a headache with the scent, but I did pick up this little towel. I want to mention this first because I think I forgot to mention this in my most recent video on this with the 6-month update, but I don't use this towel. I've only used it like 2 or 3 times. I honestly just don't reach for it. So in my opinion, I would skip out on this one, but it also just depends on how you want to wash and dry your brushes. So this towel is actually really cool, and looking at it now, maybe I just need to like keep it out. So maybe I'll remember to use it, but this is what it looks like. It is a pretty large towel. It does have the really nice logo over here, but this towel can hang from your bathroom mirror or anything, and you can put your brushes in there after you have cleaned them kind of upside down so that they can dry really nicely. And then there is actually like a little, it's not a zip pocket, but it has like little buttons. And so you could put different things in the bottom here too, like a sponge if you washed it. So there's a lot of different size loops and everything as well. But this is just not really my type of product. I don't know. I've always just washed my brushes and then laid a towel out on the counter and let them dry. And that seems to work really well for me. So I don't typically bother with using this, but if you're really limited on counter space, this might come in really handy. I usually wash my brushes in our guest bathroom, so they don't really seem to be in my way too much, but I could definitely see how if I was washing them in my only bathroom, then I would probably want them out of the way, even if it is just for one night. So I wanted to mention that first. That's now sold just separately. I can't quite remember if I bought it as a bundle or if I just picked up the towel separately, but now you can purchase the towel separately, or you can pick up the whole brush set. There's also a few like limited sets where they have just a few brushes, and then you can buy some individually. But the brush set as a whole is what I'm going to be talking about today, because I'll mention the different brushes, and then from there I think you could make your own decision. So this does come with a really nice carrying case. It has a top. I should have grabbed that. Let me grab that. So this is what the top looks like that comes with the packaging. It's like a little carrying case, which is super nice if you want to travel with the whole set. This is really handy. I haven't used this the last few times that I've traveled, but I definitely have used it before to travel. Mine got a little bit squished. But once you put it on, you just got these little snaps, and then on either side, it will just snap into place so that they won't fall. But this is really nice because it protects the brushes on the inside. Mine got a little bit bent, but that's my fault. Oh yeah, you can bend it back really well, but that was my fault. But yeah, it's really nice because it'll protect your brushes there. And I really like that it comes with this. I keep this on my vanity. It's been on my vanity for about 2 years now or more, ever since I got these brushes. And I just use them to hold both of these brushes and my other ones. They all get mixed up together, but I really love this little cup. So the brush set, like the full brush set, comes with 25 brushes and it retails for $178. And you know, that sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, and it was definitely an investment for me when I picked them up, which I paid about $230. If you were to just buy this brush set, it's only $7.12 per brush. And when I break it down like that and I look at each brush and think, would I pay that much per brush? Yes. And that's not even including the carrying case in the total either. So I'm just kind of dividing the total by the brushes themselves and kind of thinking about the case as free with purchase. So just over $7 a brush, I think, is an absolute steal for these brushes. I still stand behind everything that I said in my first and second video. I really, really love these. And what's kind of crazy is that over 2 years later, I still think that these look honestly just as good as the day that I got them. So I do want to mention these two brushes. I mentioned these in my 6-month check-in. These are the number 6 and the number 22. I don't use either one of these. I ended up sticking these kind of with my makeup memory box, which is also, I kind of have two. I've got the makeup memory box and then I've got my travel makeup. So this stays in my travel makeup bin and this stays in the makeup memory box because I didn't want to get rid of them. Because I have the whole set, so I wanted to keep them, but I do not have these in my active collection. I just don't really like these two shapes. I've mentioned before in those other two videos, so not to be too repetitive, but my number 22 was frayed when I got it, and I've tried to put it with the soap and let that kind of refigure it, which does work each time you need it, but you kind of have to like keep doing that. And I also don't use this shape brush very often. And then the other one, the 06, is just this like flat paddle type shaped brush that some people use for foundation or primer, but I just honestly don't use this shape of a brush. I don't find that it comes in handy for me. And I felt like I just have plenty of other brushes I'd rather use for anything that I might use this one for. So those two brushes I don't use. But the other 23, I do use. So I still think that it's a really good deal. There's some that I use more than others. I just washed these brushes last week and almost all of them are already dirty again. And I can tell you the only reason that these other few eye brushes aren't is because they were tucked in my other brush container, which looks like this, and I couldn't find them. I just haven't needed to search for more eye brushes yet because I had just cleaned all of my brushes. And I have a lot of eye brushes, but all of these are almost all dirty again. So there's obviously brushes I use more than others in the set. I would say my two least used brushes would be these two, but I love them because they're so unique to my collection. So the number 24 brush is this one. It's got a really thin set of bristles, but they're really long. These are really nice for like a graphic line or anything like that, which I don't do very often. I haven't been into that type of look lately, but I used to use that one a lot more. And then this one, the 09 brush, I also don't use quite as often. It does just come in handy sometimes because it is a very unique type of shape, and I just really like this. It's nice if you want to do some sort of like a liner look with an eyeshadow especially, or if you need to buff away mascara. Like there's just a lot of little things that this is helpful for on the lower lash line too. So I do really like that one. But other than those two, I use all of them all of the time. I love the face brushes in this one. The larger brushes are my favorites. I really enjoy both of these cream brushes. I do have another cream type of brush that I like to use for bronzer. That is, I can't find it for sale anymore. It was from the brand Kala, and I just happened to find it on Shop Miss A one time, but that's just like a unique shape. But I really do like this kind of duo fiber brush for creams, and then I like this duo fiber one for blushes, and I use both of these a lot. I just haven't used a cream bronzer, but just today, so I had to use the other brush in the last week, but I do use these a lot for cream products. And then I use these two for powder bronzer and powder blush. I use the bronzer one like almost every single day. And then I switch up my blush brushes depending on like what shade of blush I'm using. I use this 01 brush all the time. All the eye brushes I think are so great. I still stand by all the favorites that I had. This brush here, the number 11, is just like one of my absolute favorites because it's like more dense on one side than the other and more fluffy on the other side. And I find that that's really helpful. So I just really like all the different shapes of this. I don't want to be too repetitive, but I do want to mention, like, let me show you on some of my most used brushes here. And they're all like this, but none of them have gotten loose at all. So I really feel like that is a testament of their quality because I've used these so much. But you guys can see like the writing has not worn off on this one. I see on this one on Spectrum, the P and the R have like the tiniest little wear on them, but you can still read them very clearly. And then this one too, the number 1, I use all the time. I mean, they're just holding up so well. So I'm impressed with these. I use them all the time. I do my makeup almost every single day, and there's not a day where I do my makeup that I don't reach for at least one of these brushes. So definitely just staples in my collection. So moving on from the actual Katie Jane Hughes brushes, I do want to talk a little bit about some different Spectrum brushes and then also to compare them to some other brushes in my collection. So I mentioned in my 6-month update video that these looked really pretty. They do look really pretty. They did. So these are from the Zodiac line with Spectrum collections. I did have their face set and their eye set, but I ended up only keeping 4 from the eye set and 3 from the face set. And these were definitely a bit of a bummer for me. I would not suggest these. I cannot like stand behind these brushes because I have had a bunch of them become very loose. This one's a little bit loose. And these stars, which is why I love these so much, is the like actual aesthetic design of them wear off so quickly. Like on all of them, they have worn off. So I don't know if it's just this design from them that wears off so much, but I really loved this design. I mean, there's nothing about it that I don't like. I love how it has the black with the gold and then the inverse, and I love how the bristles are black. I love the shape, especially of this brush. It's really nice, which I couldn't tell you what number it was because it's worn off. I also really like this brush, which still has the number. It's the A26, and this one's a really nice one for powder on the under eyes, but I do still really like these brushes just because I like the pattern. But as far as the quality goes, they're nowhere near as good as the Katie Jane Hughes ones, and they're a lot lighter as well in weight. They do not feel as sturdy as the Katie Jane Hughes ones, and they don't stand up nearly as well by a long shot. These started falling apart pretty quickly with me getting them, so that was a bit of a bummer. I did receive these from the brand, and I did not pay with my own money for them, but regardless of that, I just really cannot recommend these. They are not worth your money, in my opinion. If you're gonna purchase brushes from Spectrum, I would not suggest this line. I would definitely point you in the direction of Katie Jane Hughes's line. But I do want to mention these brushes from the Emily in Paris collection are a lot better quality. I had the whole set of these. Again, these were sent to me by the brand, but I was really excited to get to try different lines within Spectrum because these are like a collab, but it's not with the makeup artist who got to choose the brushes and had a lot of say in them, and well, as far as I know. But these have actually held up pretty well. I do see a tiny little bit of fraying on this brush, but that could have been from it being in the cup with the other brushes. And this is actually the first that I've noticed that, and it seems to just be 2 little hairs sticking out. So I really like these. This brush, the A28, I really like as a flat shader brush. And then I really do like this spoolie on this brush, weirdly enough. It is just their A24, which is like an eyeshadow or an eyeliner or an eyebrow brush. I really like that one. This one is such a unique shape, like I could not get rid of it, but I don't really use it that often. But I do really like these. And so one thing that I really want to try is I want to try their like standard in-house brand. I feel like if they have any brushes that should be the same quality as Katie Jane Hughes, it should be those, but I haven't tried those yet. So I did just want to caution you all about the different types of brushes that they have. So I really would just stick to the Katie Jane Hughes. I don't think that these Emily in Paris ones are available anymore, and they had some really odd shapes that just didn't really work for me too. I do really like the ones that I kept, and I do think that they've held up pretty well, but I just feel like the Katie Jane Hughes ones have the greatest packaging, the greatest styles to them, and really thoughtful designs. So I would kind of point you in that direction over any of the other ones so far. But then I wanted to compare them to these Sigma brushes. So I have an eye set. Okay, it looks like I have what's called the basic eye brush set because it does have these 7 brushes. So each of these brushes costs $11 each if you break the set down. Now the set currently is sold out, but that is the breakdown of what the total price says that it is. So they are about a little over $4 more, or a little less than $4 more per brush than the Katie Jane Hughes one. And these don't come with a carrying case, whereas the Katie Jane Hughes one does. I will say, as far as this particular set goes, that I don't use every shape in this collection quite as much. So I tend to really just use the 3 of these the most, I would say, which are the, let's see, the E40 is definitely my most used. This is the tapered blending brush. And then I've got the E30 pencil brush, which you can see these on their website too. It's in that one set. The E55, that's my other most used. And then the other 4, I feel like I don't quite use as much. But the quality of these feels, I would say, identical to the Katie Jane Hughes brushes. So let's see. I picked my favorite crease brush from Katie Jane Hughes. These are definitely like 2 different style brushes here, but here is how they compare to one another. So the Sigma brush is taller than the Spectrum Katie Jane Hughes one, but they feel pretty similar. If I had to say that one weighs more than the other, I would say the Sigma one does, but it's also taller, so that would make sense, but not by very much. I also really like how the Katie Jane Hughes brush kind of thickens a little bit here and then it tapers off, whereas the Sigma one is just a straight shot. This makes it more comfortable in the hand, I feel like, versus the straight one, because it just is more comfortable to hold on to, because I tend to hold my brush about right here. So that's just a really small detail that I feel like is really good that she, noticed. But I really like both of them. I think it just depends on your budget, if you can find one on sale or not the other, or if one is more accessible to you, then obviously that would change things also. I really do suggest the Katie Jane Hughes brushes. I feel like that is the best bang for your buck. You're paying a little bit over $7 for each brush. They're super creative, super unique brushes in my opinion. I haven't tried every brush on the market by any means. Another brand I'd really love to try are the BK Beauty brushes. I've heard really great things about those, but I've never tried them, so I can't really speak to that and how they would compare. But compared to any other brush that I've ever used, I do feel like these have held up better than the other ones. I mean, I do have a set from Colourpop that's held up and I still use them, but like here's one of my favorite ones. The actual handle part has like a crack, like there's little cracks on the finish of it. So those are, minor differences. They're not like coming apart here and they still are functional, but they definitely haven't held up quite as well, but they are, from Colourpop, so they're a little bit less, less expensive. So it's a good option there, but I do think that you can find great affordable brushes, and I do suggest those ones from Colourpop. I also really like the Real Techniques brushes, and so if you're looking for something more budget friendly, I think that that's a great place to go to. However, when I look at picking up like a single brush from Colourpop, I don't think that they're that much less than $7 if they are. And so to pick up the whole set, if you were looking for or in need of a whole set to really complete, a whole face of makeup and have a couple different options, then I do feel like it's really good value. So I really hope that this video could help you guys if you're thinking about picking them up. I am really excited that Katie Jane Hughes is launching her makeup brand this month. That is going to be my only makeup purchase of September, actually. I'm going on a 1 product allowance / no buy, and I won't be picking up any other products except I'm letting myself pick up that from Katie Jane Hughes's brand. I'm sure that she's going to be featuring these brushes a lot with her new products, and so it's going to be fun to see how she utilizes them. So I think that this is just a really fun set to have, and I'm really still excited to use these brushes, which is such a winner for the makeup world for me to be excited about something over 2 years later, because there's just new stuff coming out every single day. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's video, and I hope that it was helpful. If you do want to purchase these brushes, be sure to check out the link in my description for 15% off your order. There's no pressure to use that. You can just save some money, but it will support my channel as well, and I want to be upfront about that. So thank you in advance if you do choose to use my link and shop at Spectrum Collections. I would really appreciate it. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you want to see more content from me. But I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.